I don't like pretensions. I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like the way people take, oh, I'm important, I'm serious. There's always been this element of chaos in everything I do in life. I think it's about chaos and order, and the two things, the battle between, because you need both of them. If it's just order, it's boring. If it's chaos, it's just tiring. It wears you out and you get nothing done. So you need the two. It's never a character, it's always the world that is going on. I think the world is a very chaotic place. We think it has an order to it, and we want to believe in that. And whether Jesus brings order to the world or whether God does, we want to believe in order, but it doesn't really work that way. I don't want to control everything. I want to learn to dance with chaos. I think life is about learning to be a good jazz player with other people who are creating noise all around you, and how do you boop, 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 boop.
Games. Here's some games. Games that want to get out.
I pretend I'm directing. I'm an actor. Pretending to be a director is what I really am. And as long as people believe I am a director and I know what I'm doing, they have a belief system, so they follow me. I don't like fantasy movies, let's start with, because there's so many fantastical movies that aren't based on anything other than imagination. And what is interesting for me is the battle between reality and imagination. It's the same thing. If you want to fly, but gravity says, whoop! I don't use drugs. I try to do it with whatever natural chemicals are floating around in my body. Drugs, I've never really liked. I mean, occasionally you need drugs to recover from all this stuff. Like, I've never taken acid. And this, I mean, I've always, at the end of Las Vegas Parano, I said I was going to take acid. I had to experience it. I never did it. I was an adult in California in the 60s, and there was so much acid around the place, and I knew people were having terrible trips, and others that just loved it. But I thought what they were describing is what I already experienced without acid. So I saved a lot of money, basically. The wide-angle lens, it intrigues me because it isn't just, movies tend to be tight. We're showing the actors, the main characters. But to me, the main characters exist in an environment, a world. So I want to see the whole thing, because it's not just about that guy like that. It's that guy in this place. It's strangely claustrophobic because you're seeing all this world, but it's wrapped around you a bit. And so you can't get out of this world. The other thing we did there, of course, was, about Dutching, the term to Dutch. When you don't put the camera at a horizontal level, you tilt it a bit. That's called Dutching. So it's only in certain points we suddenly straighten it up, which throws the audience. And it's interesting because people aren't aware of it. It sort of works on a subconscious level. It's the only way to survive life. Is irony. You've got to learn to laugh at the world, because the world takes itself so seriously, and now the world takes itself even more seriously than before.
Who are you? We are the knights who say... No, not the knights who say ni. The same!
I've always used comedy in every film. I remember with Brazil, it was because Brazil is basically a tragic movie. And so the more you can get people laughing, and then you pull the rug out from under them, and the fall is even more dramatic. So that's kind of my theory. And so you've got to keep laughing. Irony is the only God I worship. I'm not the filmmaker. The film is the filmmaker, is the reality. I'm just the technician that does the writing. So it becomes very strange how the two things become mixed together, and I can never predict how it goes. That's what's interesting, and it happens on all of my films. In Brazil, there's the big monoliths that come out of the ground. Well, it ended up, those monoliths looked exactly like the executive tower at Universal Pictures when they tried to stop the film. I think I become quite mystical because there's a kind of something happening. I'm in touch with something that is happening even before it happens, and I don't understand this. I just know it exists, and I'm the victim of these films. And so much of the time I'm angry when we're shooting because that's not the way I planned it, that's not what I want, and I get really frustrated. And then I look at it a few weeks later and say, that's better than what I was doing. So I make the choices, I get this actor, do all this, but then that actor does something that I didn't expect. And this is fantastic, this is new, because also, and so it's alive again, so my adrenaline starts going. I say, this is exciting. I don't know what we're doing anymore, but this is exciting, let's go. It revealed the whole world that I wasn't aware of, that we were making this movie. I thought we were making this movie, and suddenly, boom. So that's why I keep making movies, because you get, on every film you get a few of those moments. The rest is shit.